Hi and welcome to Ali Lives Well on Less. I'm Ali, an early retired teacher currently living well on my small teacher's pension. And today is Money Monday. So if you are fairly new to my channel, on Money Mondays we talk about some aspect of money, finance, basically spending money, saving money, how we earn our money, and just some general chit chat about all things money related. And today is, I think it's the fourth part in our Becoming Consciously Frugal in 2025, where I'm just checking in with you if you made that decision in January to make that extra effort to become frugal this year. How are you getting on? Are you still writing down everything in your book? Are you noticing where your money is going? Are you noticing things that have changed, things that have increased in cost? Maybe some things have decreased in cost. I'm going to share with you something that has decreased a cost for me, and hey ho, it's only a few pounds, but it all adds up in the end. So if you've been keeping a note of all your outgoings, hopefully you have now found all the things that you have been spending your money on. Have you now cancelled things like subscriptions and memberships and things that you no longer use or want to save money on? And I have redone my monthly budget to take into account that I got an increase in my pension in April, and I normally get my my teacher's pension paid in at the very end of the month. It is monthly and not 4 weekly like the state pension is paid, so I know that whatever comes into my bank account at the very end of the month, that's what I have to spend the following month. So at the end of April, my pension increased to £790. Woohoo! So it's about £18 more. I'm ignoring the pence as always, rounding up or rounding down as is appropriate. So my direct debits, all the things that get paid out of the bank, are exactly the same as they were before. The increase in my council tax for April has now just balanced out with that increase in my pension. So my outgoings are pretty much the same, except that I have now signed up to the Save and Subscribe for Luna's food from Pets at Home. So instead of me paying £49.99 each month for her big bag of food, I now get it for £44.99, so allow £45. So if you're fairly new to the channel, you'll see that each month I review what my fixed outgoings are. So I've got my direct debits here. I set aside some money to pay my car and my house insurance towards the end of the year, so that just goes straight into my savings account. And I pay for Luna's food and probiotics, so that's now £57 instead of 62, which you'll have seen in my big long video last week. So my total fixed costs now are £511.41. So my disposable income, so once I've paid all my bills, paid all the things that are fixed each month, I'm back to £279 a month to spend on food, clothes, entertainment, petrol, stuff like that, things I want for the garden, things I want from the house. So as much as I can, I try and pay for everything out of my monthly disposable income, and only dip into savings for the really big things or the one-offs. Yeah, so for May 2025, I was consciously trying not to spend very much money. I have just paid my deposit for my new front door and glass and side panel and all that stuff. So yeah, that's my savings has taken a huge hit, and I want to start building them back up again, because that will pretty much wipe out that savings account. But as I've talked about in a previous video, I need a front door for safety and security, and basically to keep the Scottish weather out. So yeah, had to be done. So for me, I was trying to underspend, and I have underspent by a little bit, and it would have been even more if Miss Luna hadn't had a wound infection that needed some vet treatment. So here we go for May. As you can see, that's what I start off with. Take off my outgoings, i.e. my direct debits, moved savings. I'm paying for them anyway. They're just a fixed cost I have to have each month. So there's my £511.41. Take that off from my £790 income, and I've got my £279 to spend however I like. Now, I aim for around £120 in the supermarket, and that's for everything. That's for food, for cleaning, for loo roll, for shampoo, for all those things. So usually I'm under the 120, but I like to keep it around that, and if I'm well under, then I can use the extra money to stock up my store cupboard, because you know I'm a big fan of my store cupboard. So last month my supermarket spending was £82.11, which I'm quite pleased about. That was a conscious decision to do that. Luna's vet costs were £86.59, and that was just for the medication and one of the inflatable collars instead of the big plastic cone of shame. I didn't pay for the vet consult because that comes out of my pet plan costs. But yeah, that was an unexpected one last month, but I can still do that comfortably within my monthly budget. I also went to Dobie's, the local garden centre here, because I needed the specialist compost for my tomatoes in the polytunnel, and I also got a few trays of marigolds because they are nice and stinky and they ward off a lot of pests that like to eat some of your things, so they're quite good to dot into the garden. They're also a nice splash of colour, but they do stink. They are not pleasant. And my Amazon spending last month was £30.47. I got my new lawnmower blade. Remember I talked about that last month, I think. I need a new pair of dressmaking scissors. I still cannot find the 2 pairs of dressmaking scissors that I know I have somewhere packed away in a box. So I got some new ones, £7.99. And I also bought the Patrick Grant book Less, talking about clothing waste and how we can make a difference to the environment by being conscious about our clothing choices. So once I take off all these things, I was left with £52.48, which will just go straight back into my savings. So it was a conscious effort to not spend as much last month, and in June I'm going to be doing the same again. I really want to start putting a little bit of extra money into my savings. The YouTube ad revenue is slowly creeping back up again, so thank you so much to everyone who lets the adverts run. Remember, you only need to let it run for 30 seconds for it to count, and if you've got premium, yes, YouTubers get a percentage of that as well. So with the ad revenue going back up again a little bit, I should be able to start topping up my savings account again. So thank you so much for doing that. And and I got a lovely letter from the hospice again. I'll insert a picture of it somewhere, thanking us all for our recent donation. Yeah, that was really nice. I do like when the recipients of our donations at least acknowledge them instead of just the automatic sort of reply you get if you're doing it through one of the online thingies. Yeah, so the hospice, they always make an effort to do a sort of personal thank you. So I will put a picture of that in somewhere so that you can see that. So part of being consciously frugal just means that you're thinking about where your money is going. And I have noticed that the question of frugality is sort of circulating a little bit again, especially in the UK sort of channels and comments. My response to that is always everyone's reasons and methods of being frugal, if that's the word you want to use, they're different. I mean, I did a whole video on why my frugality shouldn't look like anyone else's frugality. So it pops up every now and again. It seems to be circular in frugal land, if you like. I mean, I've been doing this for 15 years and it comes up every now and again. You know, you can't be frugal if you own your own house or you have a car or you have a dog. That's just opinions. If you're being conscious about your spending and your saving, then you can call it frugality or thriftiness or being a skinflint, or I love how Shoestring Jane owns what is it she called herself? A skinflint. Yeah, not a word I would use about myself, but yeah, everyone has their own definition, and that's okay. That's okay. So I know why and how I'm doing this, and hopefully I'm sharing what I'm doing. I am in no way telling anyone this is the only way to do it and this is how you must do it. Everyone's journey is different, and I do love the comments that people leave on my videos. I think you get me. I think you get what I'm trying to do, and I love when people share tips. I'm always open to hearing what other people have done, and quite often I think, oh, I hadn't thought of that, and oh, I need to go and do some more research on that. So keep leaving your tips and telling the things that you've been doing as well. So if you've been trying to become more consciously frugal or being just more conscientious about how and where you're spending your money, let me know. Let me know how you're getting on. I think the last time I did one of these videos, people were talking about their Excel spreadsheets and their apps, and yeah. Still, paper and pen. I think it's just because I'm a visual learner. I have to see it. I have to physically write. I have to do the kinetic bit of writing for it to stick in my brain. But everyone's different. So if you've got a great way of keeping a track of all your money, because you could have different bank accounts, credit cards, savings accounts. There's all sorts of different ways to manage your money. And again, there's no right way or wrong way, as long as you're not overspending and getting yourself into debt. So I hope that was useful. Luna has given up whining at me. Our routine is completely different today because I went to visit my mum, and I haven't given her a yogi ball while I was doing this because we're upstairs, and because it's also too close to her meal time. And I have found that if she has a yogi ball too close to having her main meal of the day, she just pukes it back up. So yeah, we are trying to avoid a sicky mess for me to clean up. So, but she is tired because she has travelled for a couple of hours in the car. So she was really good, but she is tired now. So you've made it all the way to the end of my Consciously Frugal Monday chat today. Thank you so much. I'm not sure if there'll be a Wednesday video or not. If it stops flipping raining, I'll get out into the garden and I'll show you my jungle. Oh my goodness. It has rained every single day for the last, I think we're almost 2 weeks. So because it's warm rain, everything is just sprouting, especially the weeds and my grass. So yeah, so there may or may not be a Wednesday video. I will try. So have a fabulous day, enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you very soon. Thanks for watching. So this is a letter that I got from the hospice. I also got an email thanking me for my donation as well. But there is a little box on the form that you fill in online, and it says, you know, why you're donating this money. And I always say that it's from my YouTube viewers, i.e. you guys, who watch the adverts, and how I donate some of that revenue. So yeah, so we've paid for 10 hours of specialist nursing care for one terminally ill patient. So thank you so much everyone for watching the adverts. And the wee bit I've ripped out is just my address, so that's all I removed.